and keynote speeches on mind management, clarity, and productivity. Please help me join and welcoming Miss Lee.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hello, ladies, and our Facebook audience as well. This is such a great honor for me to be here and share with you. I want to take you back to a time I was spending Christmas and New Year's with my family. It was our first time in Hawaii, and we got to spend 3 weeks holiday there. And we're standing on one of the most beautiful beaches on the Big Island, watching the sun making its descent onto the horizon of the beautiful ocean there. And we're just feeling the warmth, and we're there together. And you'd think that being in this paradise, in this holiday time with my family, I would be blooming with excitement. And I wasn't. I was in a deep, dark, massive depression. My marriage was on the brink of divorce. I had a strained relationship with my stepson who was with us, but even though he was out of the house and on his own, our relationship still had a lot of tension in it. And then my daughter was in her early teenage years, and while we had a good relationship, it wasn't a great relationship. I had lost my identity because I had been a stay-at-home mom for 14 years, and I was trying to figure out who I was anymore. I knew how to make my husband happy. I knew how to appease my stepson, and I knew how to bring some joy into my daughter's life. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't know what would make me happy. And I had realized I had been doing this for over 2 years. And this is not who I am. I'm like, I was having a waking up moment. Like, first of all, how long has this been going on? And second of all, how much longer do I want to carry on this way? And I said, well, 2017 is right around the corner. Enough is enough. And I don't care how selfish it may seem to anybody else. I am going to go on a quest to figure out what makes Lee happy. And I chose the word laugh as my word for the year because I couldn't remember when was the last time I had a really good laugh. And I did anything and everything that would do that for me. So admittedly, it began on the couch, the corner of the couch, watching reruns of the sitcom Friends, because Joey, Chandler, Monica, Rachel, all of them, they would make me laugh. Even though I knew the lines to all the episodes, I thought, okay, here's a start. And then fortunately at that time, we had a comedy troupe that did an improv show every Friday night. So every Friday night, I was down at the local theater getting my laughter on. And then I intentionally surrounded myself with people I knew had an amazing sense of humor. And after several months of doing this, I started feeling a crack in my heart, a light breaking through all that cake and mud and heaviness of the depression I had endured for the past 2 years. And that light was joy. And soon that light enveloped my entire being. And what took me by surprise was joy spoke to me and said, now that I'm here, what do you want to do with me? See, joy is meaningless unless we have a purpose with it. And I went, wow. I'm like, I just discovered you again. What do you mean? What do I do with you? And as I thought about it, I went, oh my gosh, ever since I was 14 years old, I had it convicted in my heart that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom in my future, but I never looked beyond that next chapter. What does it mean for my life to look like when my daughter moves on to her next chapter? And I went, oh my goodness, I never figured that out. Okay, great. Joy, now that you're here, what do I want to do with you? What about you really lights me up? And I love, love, love public speaking. I got to do it for the very first time when I was 8 years old in front of a crowd of 200 people. And the feeling that came over me after the moment was just this sense of exhilaration. It was such positive adrenaline. And I just went, wow, I really like this feeling. How do I get more of this? And it wasn't until my high school years that I discovered that people don't like public speaking. They would rather die, face death, than face a crowd. And I'm like, oh, but me, I love facing a crowd, whether it's an audience of 5 or an audience of 5,000. I love being able to share a story and a message. And so there's a little voice inside my head as I was thinking, Joy, what do I want to do with you? It said, remember, when you were 8, remember when you were in college and you wanted to be a corporate motivational speaker. Well, you've moved forward in life now, and throughout this time, you've been studying personal development. And so you've grown in yourself with the greats like Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, and you have this whole life experience now. Take your story, make it meaningful, and show others how they can live more fully too. So if you're someone who's been through anxiety and depression, I know that journey. I know how hard and difficult it is to pull out of it. But the good news is that you can pull out of it. I will say it's not good to do it alone. So whether you have a mentor or a coach or a support system that can help you along the way, grab a hold of that and make that happen. And now I've taken this even further, diving deeper into my passion. And I'm currently on a mission now to share my story and my message with the world. And I want to transform what I call reactors into creators. And if you're with me and you're in a place where you can take notes, I want you to write these 2 words down. Reactor and creator. And when you have those 2 words written down, when you look at them, you'll notice that they're anagrams, which means they are the exact same letters, just written in a different way. And I like to say that the difference is, how do you see yourself? Are you someone who sees yourself surrounded with stress and overwhelmed by demands and expectations that either you place on yourself or you feel it from others? You've got that endless to-do list. You're not sure about your priorities. Maybe you're like me when I was in my depression going, what even makes me happy? Do you know the answer to that? Because if you don't, you're just going to find yourself reacting to email, reacting to distractions, reacting to interruptions, reacting to demands, reacting to the never-ending cycles. And you're busy. You're getting things done. You may feel some accomplishment, but I venture to guess that you're feeling more exhausted than anything else. Can anybody relate to that? Feeling exhausted? But when you can see yourself taking ownership of your day, you create the day that what you want to experience it. So you set the priorities, you set the intentions hour by hour of what you are going to do with that time. Maybe it's building a relationship. Maybe it's working on a project that matters to you most. Maybe it's taking the time to learn a new skill or take the next level into the skill that you want to master and develop. And so you are aligning with who you want to be. You get to design that for it yourself. And so that's why I say, how do you see yourself? You can see yourself bombarded and reacting to everything, but when you take yourself out and put yourself first, you become the creator of the life that you love living. And this is what I love to teach on. And so that's the first step, is getting in the right mindset. And you can even take that as a simple exercise for yourself. If you're feeling overwhelmed in a moment and you're going, oh my gosh, this day is not going the way that I want it to, push yourself back. Take a deep breath. I encourage you to take 3 deep breaths. And it's like 7 count in, hold it for 4 seconds, 7 counts out. Do that 3 times and then ask yourself, am I reacting or am I creating? How do I see myself? and then make that shift that I want to be creating. Okay, what does that mean in this moment right here, right now? And then you get to take that movement forward. And when you do that simple exercise, it really helps you to readjust in a moment. Because a lot of the time where we need to make a change in our thought or our feeling, it's gaining the right perspective that aligns with who we are meant to be. And you are meant to be a creator. And you are meant to be a creator because you have what I call the 3 G's: gifts, genius, and greatness. And your gifts are those things that they come easily to you. You know, sometimes when you find yourself in a moment trying to explain it to somebody else and they're going, I just don't get it. And you're thinking, how can you not get it? You just do. And it feels so easy. But that's a gift that you have. For example, for me, public speaking is a gift. I realized in high school and I thought, okay, this is what I love doing. And when I joined Toastmasters later in life, everybody looked at me and said, wow, you just speak so well. How do you do that? I don't know. I just do. I don't know how to explain the how of it. I just do. And I thought, okay, I have a gift. So with that gift, I have to make sure that I contribute it. That gift, our gifts, no matter what they are, right? My daughter has a gift for baking. That's where my COVID-10 came from, Stephanie. So my daughter's been baking up a storm. And, you know, that's a gift that she has. So she needs, you know, we're trying to find ways for her to contribute to the world, you know, instead of just to mom and dad. So whatever the gifts are, they're not meant for us to keep, right? We need to be contributing that in some way, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your employment or your business, or just in the work that you do in life, in your community. It could be something small in your neighborhood, or it can be something on a bigger scale. And then your genius is, you know, the way you think about things and how you look at the world. You may have a unique perspective. And so being able to communicate that and share that genius is a part of your creativity and part of your uniqueness. And when we can have those conversations where we can talk about those geniuses in a respectful way, it can again contribute towards a mind-blowing community. I work with entrepreneurs and business professionals, and I do a weekly mastermind. And so to take their geniuses, their ideas, even whether it's productivity or sales or marketing, and the way we're able to come together and learn from one another because we come from different areas of expertise and different experiences, it's massive what we're able to do together. And then your greatness. You are a miracle just in being here. And again, that's not something for us to be taking for granted. I took that for granted in my depression, and recognizing, whoa, life is meant to be so much more than me just waking up, dreading the day, going through the motions, reacting to whatever comes my way, and then having my dinner and my nighttime whatever, and then going to bed and waking up. That's not living life, people. And I venture to guess that you would agree with that, you know. So our stepping into our greatness, and again, it doesn't mean we have to go out and be massive world changers. Start with yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. What is great about you? Seeing that and believing that, knowing that it exists. And then where in your immediate circle, in your relationships, can you share that? How loving can you be? How giving can you be? And then taking it outside of that, again, maybe into where you do your work, whether it's working for yourself or working for an employer, giving your best self there, sharing the greatness there. So when you take those 3 G's, your gifts, your genius, and your greatness, you're stepping into this best version of yourself. And when you take the mindset of creating the life that you desire, watch out, world. You are going to be shining like a massive light, and other people will be looking to you. How are you doing that? I'm trudging along, you know, but you're just this shining light. How are you doing that? Well, let me tell you about reacting and creating. You know, it's just as simple as that, as how do you see yourself? Now, how do we take this creativity and make it into productivity for ourselves? I've put together what I call the C.A.N.D.Y method. And later on, I'll when I have a way of connecting with you, I can share this sheet with you. And the C.A.N.D.Y method is my acronym for transforming you from the inside out. And it stands for clarity, affirmation, necessity, discipline, uniqueness, which I spell Y-O-U. So clarity is about understanding where we are today, what do we want, and who do we need to become to have what we desire? Because if we were already that person, we would already have those things or those experiences. So getting really clear, and that takes a moment of reflection and diving deep into who we are. If we don't even know what our ideal day looks like, we can't go make it happen. So my first simple idea to you is to think about, what does my ideal day look like? And that could be maybe a work day. This is what a massively successful work day would feel like. And then maybe a free day. If I had everything in place and maybe it's the weekend and I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, this is what that ideal day looks like. And so getting the clarity there. A affirmation is, what's the self-talk that's happening inside of you? Because this is the daily battlefield we have to encounter, right? The moment we wake up, the moment that alarm goes off, are you hitting snooze or are you jumping out of bed because you can't wait to take on the day and serve and be your best self? What's happening there? And the two most powerful words in your vocabulary, I am. Why is that powerful? Because whatever follows it sets up the moment. If you're saying, I am tired, what's your energy level going to be? The very moment that you say it. You say, I am energized, I am ready to take on the day. Your body might say what? But you're getting there, right? And you're like, I am ready to serve. I am ready to step up. I am capable. I am confident. So our words have energy to them. So when we follow the I am, we want to make sure that those words are of the highest vibration possible. I am grateful for, whatever it happens to be, and it could be something simple, may seem small to you, but really it's big. It's really big. So setting yourself up with that positive self-talk. The N in C.A.N.D.Y is necessity. And that is creating a sense of urgency. Because once you know what you want and you're declaring it, you don't want it wait forever. You want it now. And how do you make that happen? Now, in a bigger scheme of things, we reverse engineer. We set like a 12-month picture. We break it down into 90-day chunks. And then out of those 90 days, we look at the monthly, the weekly, the daily. And so the necessity part comes in where you can think about, what can I do in the next 15 minutes that moves me forward towards that desire? And then the next 24 hours, and then the next 7 days. And whatever you wrote down I highly suggest that you write these down, and then whatever you wrote in the next 15 minutes, go do it. Go make it happen. And what's great about the 15-minute chunk is that once you accomplish something, your brain shoots some dopamine. It's like, oh, hey, we finished that task. Yay. What's next? Because I want that dopamine shot again. And we call that the compounding effect. So that's where it increases productivity, because you're checking off one thing after another. So that's where the necessity comes, is getting the needle moving activity to move you forward. The D is discipline, and that's habits. And discipline it's a muscle. If we don't use it, we're going to lose it. When all these changes we've encountered in COVID-19 so far, where we had to have a change in routine, maybe some habits we didn't even know we had started popping up. Well, I used to do that, and that was part of my comfort zone, but I can't do that anymore, so I have to make a change. And when I look at habits, I don't look at, oh, here are my good habits and here are my bad habits. I look at my habits and I ask, which habits are serving me and pulling me toward my goal, which habits are holding me back. Because habits are just a repetition of the decisions and choices that we've made. And sometimes we are aware of the repetition, and other times we are unconsciously aware. And so the ones that I can look at and say, okay, the ones that are pulling me forward, great. Those are the ones I want to keep doing again and again and again. And they're already part of my habits, so I don't really have to think about them. But the ones that I feel are holding me back from achieving what I want, where can I reframe that habit, the way that I think about it? And where can I make that change so that it does become a habit that serves me, or I just need to release it? And then uniqueness, I talked about earlier, your three G's, your gifts, your genius, your greatness. What it is about you that makes you the amazing, wonderful you that you are. And then how can you contribute that today, some way, somehow? And so when I do my weekly planning, it's not only my time blocking, I'm looking at who am I becoming, where I can implement my C.A.N.D.Y method and put those elements into place. Because when we just do the do, but we don't have the foundation underneath it of who we are behind it and why we are doing those things, we will fall back into bad habits, if you will, the habits that aren't serving us. But when we can look at this is who I am and who I'm becoming, we can step into that light that we truly are, be more productive, and we can shine on for others around us. So I hope this has been helpful for you. And Stephanie, I apologize, I forgot to pay attention to what time I started, but I want to take a few minutes too. If you have any questions, I'd like to answer them for you, and then also hear back from you, what stood out for you the most in this presentation. Stephanie, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I love everything about being productive and going to the next level and really taking what your small steps are to create a greatness, right? And I love that earlier you said I am and then the words after that reflect where you're at and really where you're going. Because normally I'm always like, I'm ready, let's go, let's have so much energy. And so today's call, I started for the first time in a very long time. I'm like, I am tired. And you're probably like, I see that. So I just have to say thank you so much for speaking on a topic that's so inspiring and also, but so very much needed. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for discussing that. I think the only question I have for you now is, so you're speaking all of these different places at this point and doing podcasts. Is there anything that you specifically, any specific kind of podcasts or speaking engagements that you prefer to be on or be with?
I think the ones that I really enjoy being a guest on is when they're looking something mindset related, or they're looking for that different perspective. I love watching my audience or getting the feedback when I show them the reactor creator shift, when I can use that as a visual, and they go, oh, wow, I never looked at those words that way. And so I love giving that, just that little, and being able to use that as a simple tool. I use it quite often on myself, like, oh my gosh, am I reacting in this moment? Or what do I need to step away from that because I want to be creating and moving forward? And so being able to share that just with whatever audience. Before COVID-19, I was speaking live with realtor groups, so sales managers, anybody who has a team, because when I can get them all on the same page, then working as individuals and working together, they become so much more powerful as well as more productive. So I'm definitely open to those types of opportunities.
I love that. Does anybody else have any other questions at this time?
Well, not questions, but I'll just make a comment. So you were mentioning about the I am. So I have a board. Actually, when I do my workouts, I read them out loud to the girls as I'm burning their buns or whatever, like to try to keep them motivated. So I really like the I ams, the mantra, the reactor and the creator. That was really, I took a whole page of notes, but I mean, that was really, really spoke to me. taking ownership of your day, no matter what's going on. And then the deep breath. So you said 7 seconds in and
hold it for 4.
Hold for 4.
You release it for 7.
Okay.
And when you do that 3 times, you'll actually drop your heart rate by as much as 5 beats per minute. And then that change in the heart rate, it releases the hormone, so you're battling against any anxiety, or high blood pressure issue that could be coming up in that moment. So it just like really centers you again.
I love that. And the readjusting. So like yesterday I had a Zoom with an overview, and as soon as it started, it went dead. I lost my connection, and I had people waiting on there, and I just was starting to like get anxiety and get all stressed out. I logged in through my mobile device, thank goodness, which it was fine. It saved the day, but it was like, how do I share my screen on Zoom on my phone? So I just had to take some deep breaths, but thank you. That's good.
Thank you for
a blessing. Thank you for all your information.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us today. And thank you, Lee, for sharing with us on this amazing productivity speech. And we definitely look forward to speaking with you again and having you speak again, because you're just a wonderful person, and your smile lights up the room, and I love it. So so thank you so much, guys. And thank you for joining us at Empower. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream and the recording real quick.